It's been nearly a decade in office for the coalition.
How good is Australia?
But the Liberal National grip on power isn't firm. Heading into this election, Scott Morrison can't afford to lose a single seat. Due to a redistribution, the coalition effectively holds 76 seats. Labor notionally holds 69, 7 short of outright victory. But the 7-seat path to a Labor win isn't straightforward. Of the 20 most marginal seats in the country, 15 are already held by Labor and 5 by the Liberals. Taking those 5 seats off the coalition would still leave Labor short, so they'll have to rack up big victories elsewhere just to get over the line. And the Liberals will want to pick up a few of their own to make Labor's task even harder. The path to a Labor victory could start in Queensland. It was a bloodbath for Bill Shorten in 2019.
Our plan to deliver a fair go for far north Queensland.
And the party is hoping for a huge turnaround.
Queensland is a key to the result of the next election.
Anastasia Palaszczuk is popular, and the climate wars aren't as tense as they once were. In the south, Labor is targeting Longman and Brisbane, but also has hopes in Petrie and Ford. Further north, the central Queensland seats of Flynn and Capricornia look safe for the coalition, but Labor think they can be captured again. Herbert was lost to Labor at the last election, and they'd very much like it back. Don't underestimate the challenge. Some of these seats are on margins around 10%, so there are plenty of minds to change. The West could be a happy hunting ground.
This is a humbling experience.
If Labor can conjure up some Mark McGowan magic.
Whichever way people vote at the next federal election, I can tell you one thing for sure, and that is Premier McGowan will be the Premier the next day. That won't change.
Swan in Perth's West will be a prime target with a margin of just over 3% and Liberal MP Steve Irons retiring. Christian Porter's seat of Pearce and Ken Wyatt's seat of Hasluck will also be on Labor's radar. Australia's smallest state could be pivotal.
Backing Australians in, whether here in northern Tasmania or elsewhere around the country.
Tasmania needs a Labor government.
But predicting the island's politics is never easy. There are 2 key seats in the state's north and west. Bass, centred on Launceston, is one of the most marginal seats in the country and was Labor held before the last election. It's a hard seat to keep. It's only re-elected one person in 30 years. Braddon, to the west, is a harder ask with a 3% margin. Further north, Labor says Scott Morrison has a special relationship with his home state.
A man determined to be the Prime Minister for New South Wales.
The one place that label might not hurt is New South Wales itself. And the coalition would love to flip a few Labor seats and build itself a buffer against any losses elsewhere. On the south coast, Gilmore and Eden Monero are 2 big targets. To Sydney's west, Macquarie is on a threadbare margin. North of the city, they'll try for Dobell and Patterson, but both would be remarkable results. The Liberals will also be defending seats. Labor will try again for Reid and Lindsay in Western Sydney, and also make a play for Robertson. The pandemic hit much of the country hard, but no state did it harder than Victoria.
I simply cannot tell you how proud I am of every single Victorian who has persevered.
Dan Andrews' supporters might energise the Labor vote, and pandemic politics may not play well for Scott Morrison.
You've got 2 choices here. You can push through or you can lock down. We're for pushing through. That's how you get through this.
Chisholm in Melbourne's east is on a very tight margin for the Liberals and has spent plenty of time in Labor's hands in the past. And the coalition would love Indi in the state's north back in the fold. It's the second straight election where the coalition heads in with a very slender majority. And it's entirely possible neither side winds up with a majority and the crossbench is left to call the shots. The race to 76 seats won't be an easy one.